And I think that for us to be successful in fighting this scourge, it's very important for us to align ourselves with the 99.9% of Muslims who are looking for the same thing we're looking for: order, peace, prosperity. And so, I don't quibble with labels.
President Obama on CNN earlier this month refusing to acknowledge the ongoing fight against ISIS is a battle against radical Islamic terror. Welcome into the final hour of America's Forum with Miranda Khan. I'm J.D. Hayworth, and Miranda, ISIS has targeted several religious groups, including Muslims, as well as those Egyptian Coptic Christians who were recently killed in cold blood.
Yeah, but some call the Obama administration clueless to the facts. In a recent statement released by Press Secretary Josh Earnest, the murdered men were only referred to as Egyptian citizens.
Joining us now to go in depth on this, the former mayor of Boston and the former American ambassador to the Holy See, the Honorable Ray Flynn, checking in from a very snowy Boston. Ray, we'll get to the snow in a second, but we need your expertise in terms of foreign policy. Do you believe ISIS is waging a holy war against Christians now?
I certainly do. I've felt this way for a long period of time. I've actually traveled throughout the Middle East, throughout the world, and I've actually witnessed this. I surmise this developing. Look, there's no secret here. They're saying that they want a purely religious state, and anybody else in that state who doesn't adhere, doesn't believe to their beliefs, their values, their principles, they're going to kill them. They're going to behead them. So you have these radical Islamic terrorists, well-armed, beheading people, torturing Christians, and you have defenseless, unarmed Christians unable to do anything about it. So there it is, So what do? Do you move out, or do you arm these people and let them defend themselves and their families? This is not going to be solved by Democrats or Republicans or even the president. This is going to be solved when people in those countries decide that they are going to take back their country. Our job is to support them and train them, let them defend themselves. That's something that we're not doing. The president says 99% of these Muslim people are good people. Yeah, that might be true, but the 1% that aren't good people, those are the people who are well-armed, they're terrorists, and they'll stop at nothing to kill the defenseless, unarmed 99% of the other people.
So, Ray, I want to ask you, we were showing images of those Coptic Christians in Egypt that were sadly beheaded over the weekend. Why do you think this specific group is being targeted? And do you agree with most of America, at least according to that CNN poll, that over 70% of Americans believe that the president should receive authorization to use military force against ISIS?
Yeah, the United States should be involved in this without question. But once they get involved, like they have been in so many countries, they then have to train the people, not just military people, because you never know what's going to happen with those military people. That's going to get dissolved. They're going to go run and hide. They're going to go into the woods. They actually have to train the people. That the first and most essential obligation of people is defending themselves and defending their faith and defending their families. They're defenseless. So, why are they mentioning the Vatican? They're mentioning the Vatican because it's the center of religion in the world. Am I surprised that they're mentioning the Vatican? Not at all.
But Ray, I'm hearing you're talking about that we need to train them, but let's be honest. I mean, we saw what happened in Iraq. They left.
Yeah, we didn't train. Yeah, we left. We left. American forces went in there very heroically, did a great job. Then they pulled them out, and they left these people defenseless. They pulled the troops out there, so what do you think is going to happen? The same people who are the violent terrorists, the Islamic terrorists, they come out of the woods again, and they go back into the same communities that American military people liberated, and now we're back to the same situation, if not worse. We didn't leave those people in a good place whether they could defend themselves and where they were united to fight back and make sure that they were able to live in the kind of society that the majority of people want to live in.
Our friend Ray Flynn has an impressive resume, not only the American ambassador to the Holy See, but earlier in his public career, the mayor of Boston. From wearing both of those hats, we will continue to talk about what is happening in terms of foreign policy, specifically taking rhetorical aim at Rome that ISIS has done. Will that follow up with attacks? And that snow in Boston, what a big city mayor has to do to deal with that. There is more with Ray Flynn when we come back.
It's pretty clear, if anyone had any doubts, that no religion is safe from ISIS. They're attacking Jews, they're attacking Muslims, they're attacking Christians, and I'm sure there are several other religions they'll get to at some point. So this is a threat.
Senator Bob Kerrey, Democrat of Pennsylvania, on MSNBC, saying no religion is safe from the scourge of ISIS. Alongside Miranda Kahn, J.D. Hayworth, back with you on America's Forum. Miranda, ISIS very publicly announcing that it has set its sights on Europe.
Yeah, and in their latest video, the terrorist group vowed to go after Rome next, saying, quote, "We will conquer Rome by Allah's permission."
Let's continue our conversation now with Ray Flynn, the former mayor of Boston and the former American ambassador to the Holy See. So, Ray, you get this statement from ISIS. How concerned should the people of Rome be? How concerned should Pope Francis be?
Well, the Vatican, of course, is the center of religion, certainly the Catholic Church, the capital of the Catholic Church. And so it is a big target. There's no doubt about it. But I don't think that comes as a surprise to anybody. But now, with this acknowledged threat by ISIS, I think it is really time to do several things. One, you have to start thinking about, people coming into Rome and coming into Italy as freely as they do. I lived there almost 5 years. Was one of the easiest countries in the world to get into, whether you're coming in from the Adriatic or you're coming in from the Mediterranean or from northern Italy. So ISIS would have almost free, open borders, almost like you have here in the United States down in Mexico. So you have to do something about immigration. We're facing a very different threat than we ever have been before. So allowing people freely coming into the country, disguising themselves as tourists or pilgrims, that has to end. And beside that, there has to be an international security force that looks out for specific places that are of great tourist areas, like the Vatican, like Paris, like New York City, like Los Angeles. That's where the ISIS and the radical Islamists can make their public statement by wreaking havoc on those high-profile areas. The Vatican would be one of the most high-profile areas in the world. I would take it very, very seriously.
We have to bring up immigration because you did, and what's going on right now in the United States with this judge in Texas now blocking the president's measure to give amnesty to millions of illegal immigrants. Do you think we should be doing more here?
Well, look, it's a political issue. It's good for the president. It's good for the Democratic Party. The more people you have coming in from different countries, particularly from Mexico, Latin, Central America, that's good for the Democratic Party. We all understand the politics of that. But this issue now about terrorism can't be about politics. It can't be about elections. It can't be about expanding your political base. It's got to be about the protection of the American people. And that's what the American people, where they come in. They have to demand, not just from a Republican or a Democrat or a liberal or conservative point of view, that the number one issue as far as immigration is concerned is the public safety, the security of the American people. Do anything and everything that it takes to ensure the security and the safety of the American people. That should be our immigration policy.
Ray, we have talked a lot about international and national affairs, but we would be remiss if we didn't talk about an issue of local concern for you that's generating headlines. That has to do with the blizzards plural, the blizzards of
yeah.
Boston this year. Give us your eyewitness account. How long did it take you to get in to join us on television today?
Well, it usually takes me about 15 minutes to jog in here from my house. I don't live very far from here. It took me an hour riding in because, you know, every time a car stops, a cab stops, or a truck stops to make a delivery, that backs up traffic almost all the way into the city. So it's havoc. It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. I've been in politics almost 45 years. I remember the blizzard of '78. I remember all of these issues here. I've never seen anything like it. We have a relatively small city area-wise. We have a tremendous number of new people that have moved in, and they bring all their cars in. It's not the Flynn family that, luckily, if they have one car in a 3-decker house, now in a 3-decker house, which is 6 condos, they got about 7 cars. And that creates all kinds of havoc, and it's mind-boggling. Stay where you are. Thank God where you are. Don't come to Boston. It's not the time to come. We'll see you opening day for the Red Sox.
Yeah, it may be opening day before the snow melts away. Ray Flynn, at one point we will have a discussion about the response of the mayor and the governor and all the political leaders dealing with this act of nature. But as always, Ray Flynn, we appreciate your time. Stay warm, stay safe, and we'll have you back real soon. Now, we want you to stay with us. When we come back, Stephen J.J. Weissman on those computer bank robbers.